In this video, you're going to continue with the egrep command, which will allow you to search a certain file and find lines containing one word or the other. So the syntax is this one, and make sure you use quotes when using this command. So let's try this. So let's try this on script.js. So let's look for high or golf, like this. And here we go. You can see that you've got lines containing either high or golf. Now let's see if we had a line containing both golf and high and see if it's going to show up. Yes, it does. All right, so this command will return all lines containing either high, golf, or both. All right, so let's move to the next example. Now let's look for lines containing a certain word, but not another word. So for this, we're going to use piping. So we get the results first for the first word, and then we run the grep -v command on the results. So let's say that we want to look for lines containing golf, but not containing high. So this command will give us all lines containing golf, and then we use the grep -v command with high to return all lines not containing high. And we get only one line, which is this one, containing golf but not containing high. All right. Now let's move to the next one. Now we want to look recursively for files, only files, not folders, with a name matching a certain pattern inside our folder node. So we're going to use the find command. So if you run the command inside the folder node, then the first parameter you need to pass to the command is the location. So we're going to use dot for current location. And then we're going to use an option name to specify what pattern the name of our files should match or verify. And then we are going to use the type option to make sure that we get only files, not folders. So let's try this command. So let's say that we want to look for files starting with SC. So find, so let's see where we are at the moment. So let's move up one directory. We are inside node. So now find dot, meaning in the current location. And then we're looking for all files starting with SC. So SC and then star. We're going to use the name option right before this. And then we're going to use the type option and set it to F, meaning we're looking for files. So let's try this. So here are the files verifying those conditions. Okay, so that's how you use the find command. Now let's move to the next example. So this time we're looking for folders. So we want only folders verifying with a name verifying a certain pattern. So instead of type F, we're going to use type D. By the way, you can also use Control L to wipe the content of your terminal. So before going ahead, I'm going to change the name of JS2 to something else. So let's call it JavaScript. And let's say that we want to look for files in the current location with a name matching this pattern. So starting with JS. Okay, so we're looking for folders, so type D. And here we go, only that file verifies this condition. Now, let's try something else and look for all folders starting with SC. And since our search is recursive, using the find command, it will look inside subfolders as well. So that's one folder verifying that, and that's another one. All right, perfect. So let's move to the next example. Now we want to look recursively for folders with a name matching a pattern. And then once we find those folders, we want to delete them. So to do this, you can add an option called exec. So following this option, you can run a command on the output of the previous command. So this means that whatever you find using this command, you run this command on it. All right, so let's find inside the current location all files with a name matching this pattern. So let's find all files ending with, or all folders ending with scripts. So we are interested in folders only. So you're gonna set the type property to D. And then we're going to execute a command on those files. So we want to remove those files. So if you remember, the command is rm with an option R and an option F. And then at the end, you just add curly brackets like this inside quotes, and then a backslash like this, and then semicolon. So if we run this, then we are supposed to find all files or all folders ending with script and deleting them. So we want folders ending with script, so the name should start with a star, then ends with script. So let's try this. All right. So this deleted the JavaScript folder with everything inside it. And we left only with the JS folder and its files and folders. And we're getting an error here, no such file or directory. You don't have to worry about this one. All right. Okay, so now let's move to the next one. So this time we want to get the size of a certain folder. So we are going to be inside the folder node, and we're going to get its size. So first of all, let's try this command and see what we get. So the command is du, and the options we're going to pass to it are C and H. And the location we are referring to here is where we are, which is the current location. So let's try this. So this is returning the sizes of different files and folders which are inside our folder node. So, and at the end you can see the total, and this is the sum of all the different sizes. So we are interested in the total only. So to do this, we can get the output of this command. So I'm going to use the up arrow, and then I'm going to use piping, and then I'm going to grep total. So this line contains total, so it should return that line for us. All right, so that's an easy way to get the size of a certain folder. So bear in mind that we did this inside Node. If you do this outside Node, then you can use the full path of Node or a relative path. Okay, so let's move to something else. Now, if you want to find in which location you've got an executable file, like Node, you just use the which command. And if you remember, this is where our Node executable is. So you can try that with npm as well. And I can try that with brackets as well, as I've got the terminal utility for brackets. Perfect. So Control L. And let's move to the next one. So in this example, you're going to replace all occurrences of a certain word in your file with another word. So to do this, you're going to use the sed command. So this command will take as an option -i followed by an extension that you choose. So I chose the extension .backup. You can choose any extension you like. So this extension is going to be used to create a backup file of your original file. So if your file is called app.js and you use that extension, then the backup file is going to be called app.js.backup. And then you place inside double quotes or inside quotes S for substitute // G for global to replace all occurrences. So that's why you use G. And then in between you place your word to be replaced and then the word which is going to replace all occurrences. So let's go ahead and try this. So let's use the I option and I'm going to go for backup as an extension and then S / G, so substitutes and global. And then I want to replace all occurrences of hi, for example, with hi there. And the file I'm looking at is the script.js file. So at the moment I'm inside Node. So I need to go inside the JS folder. So let's try this. And you can see that we've got a backup file there, which is a copy of the original file. And you can see that all occurrences of hi have been changed to hi there. Perfect. So let's move to the next. So in this example, you're going to download a file from the internet using the command line. So to do this, you need the wget command. So first, you will need to install this command on your system. So you can use Homebrew to do that by copying these two commands. So you can find them in the presentation, which is going to be included in the documentation of the course. So once you do that, you just type wget space followed by the URL of the file you'd like to download. So let's try this. So I'm going to copy the URL of this image and I'm going to use wget space URL. And now I can see that the image has been downloaded into my Node folder. All right, now let's move to the next example. So now you're going to create a bash script and run it. So this is going to be an executable file which you will create on your computer and make it executable and then run it after writing some bash code in it. So I'm going to explain what bash code is. So first we're gonna create the file, touch, file name, and then you would add the execution permission to all users. So if you don't specify the type of user, then +X means that you're adding execution to all types of users. And then the file name, and then after writing code inside the file to execute it, it's // your file, if you are in the same location or the same folder where the file is located. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. So I'm currently in the node folder. So let's create our file run. So let's make it executable. So change mode +X of run. And now let's open the file in brackets and write some code. Now the first line will need to specify where the bash executable is. So we're going to use which bash to see where it is. So that's the location where our executable file is. So you need to write a number sign like this, followed by exclamation mark, and then the location of bash. So let's say that we're going to write a simple script which will create a file, and then inside this file we're going to place or combine the content of all JS files located inside the JS folder. So let's create our file and call it all.js, and then we're going to loop through the files inside the JS folder. So to do this, you're going to need a for loop. So for file in the JS folder, so we want only the JS files. So that's going to be files matching the following pattern, and then semicolon do, and then at the end we're going to have done. So here you can write all the commands you want. So for example, let's echo the name of each file. So you're going to use the file variable. So inside double quotes, you use a $sign followed by the name of the variable. And then we want to append the content of that file to all.js. So to do this, we're going to read the file, and then we're going to use $greater than sign to append, and we're going to append to all.js. Okay, so let's save this. Let's run our file. So you can see the names of the files, right? That's the first command. And let's check all.js. And you can see that we have appended the content of both the script.js file and the server.js file. All right, so hopefully this command line crash course gave you a good understanding of the command line. So in the next video, you're going to go back to Node.